Hello, hello. How's it going? Happy Thursday. Of course, Loki's gonna be demanding and noisy right now. Let me put him in his chair. Here we go. Hello, hello. Hi, Aisha. Ooh, you got the number 1. Hi, Christy. Hi, Rachel. Welcome, welcome. Is my mic really loud? It looks so loud. Hi, Christina. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Sue. Hello, Amy. What could go wrong? All right. Hi, Michelle. How's it going? I have some scraps here. You know, I'm just realizing I didn't work on the lighting for this fabric. Uh-oh. Hi, Dee. From the airport. The Wi-Fi must be really good there. That's awesome. Hopefully you don't have a long wait there. Yeah, where are you going? Hi, Julie. I look extra pale today. I'm very pale, but I look extra pale right now. I think it's because of the... Yeah, that's nicer. I keep getting this weird YouTube error. Just about to board. Oh. Okay, well, today's the day we're sewing a bra. What could go wrong, right? Wearing my fly. I'm not wearing my fly. I'm wearing the same pattern, though. So we're making the... And honestly, this dress is like seen better days. I've worn the heck out of it. But it's kind of a comfort dress. I actually don't wear a lot of like strappy things on stream because I feel like they look seasonally weird when you're watching them in winter. It is the same pattern though, you're right. I keep scooching, like I'm rolling. So we're making the Loftus Bralette today by Cashmerette. And I'm using a chiffon instead of lace. I'm using a fabric... I'm not sure what it is on the inside, but it's kind of similar to this. And then a sheer right here. And I'm not modifying anything, like I'm going to do it exactly the way the instructions have you do it. Same trims and things like that. So, yeah. Hi, Larry. How's it going? I've taken some good notes. I wrote myself some notes so I can try and be as like seamless as possible for those people that are... I'm a beginner bra maker. Like I said yesterday, this is my... I've sewn 2 bras because I tried the Misa, but I didn't finish it, so I didn't add the hooks and eyes. Oh no, I did add the hooks and eyes. I just didn't add straps, that's all. And I wouldn't consider that a very involved bra make. It's really easy to sew. And it's free. This one is, and this one doesn't even have underwire, so I still am definitely a beginner. Aisha can definitely attest to this because she answers a billion questions willingly all the time. And but I did find this really easy to sew, and it went great. Like I felt like, okay, anyone could do this if you've sewn a straight seam before, and you understand the directions. I feel like the directions are really well. It's a pattern by Cashmerette in porcelain. I think the most confusing part visually in the instructions is this little center inset. So, yes, I love it. Hi, Christina. How's it going? So let me, I think I'm going to leave this needle in because I'm not going to use the industrial much today, or the straight stitch much today. I mean, it's my industrial. I'm going to mostly be using my home machine, which I haven't set up just because I feel like that you like seeing me struggle to like get the stitches to work on stretches and stuff like that, because I struggle too. Sometimes you just don't know. Every fabric combination with thread and needle creates a different set of struggles. So yeah, exactly. I should have been holding a lot of hands lately. Same with Christina Picas. She's been holding a lot of hands as well. Actually, I've never asked Christina if that's how you say her last name, if it's Picas or Picus. Anyway, all right. Let's do a little bit of test sewing on the industrial real quick. I'm just going to see where we're at. See what the personality is today. You never know. My tension is always needing, I adjust the tension a ton on this machine, so I always have to check it. And I actually think my bobbin tension could be either loose, wait. Yeah, it could be that it's too tight. So let's loosen it up a little bit. Yes, exactly. Christina answers your questions. I use my thumbnail to adjust my bobbin because it works. Oh, wow, Dee. Well, have a great time. Well, now that's just too loose. No, that's not too loose. We just need to tighten this up top. Yeah, I think that I got really lucky with the fitting on this particular bra. The Misa, not so much, but I actually just found the fitting very confusing on that pattern style. Okay, that might be too tight. I can hear it. I'm testing this, by the way, on Power Stretch, so I'm really already putting it through its... I find if you sew a bit, you might get a more honest feel for how it's doing. The bobbin looks pretty good now. Okay, here we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, I'm very happy with that. Looks good. Let's try it on a couple of these other weird fabrics. Fine. Same fabric. This is the chiffon, so it'll mostly be sewn like this. And honestly, we could loosen that a little bit and tighten this. I just had Dubai chocolate recently. It was really good. With the pistachio center. Oh, that looks good. Okay. Let's hope it stays. I also have a little scrap piece of elastic. All right, let's get to it. I'll probably have a lot more woes when we get to my home machine and the zigzag. It's not a stretch bra, but Michelle says she's sewn it with stretch and it worked really good. But yeah, it's not stretch at all. Okay, so we have the inner cup, which is like the center front one. All right. I think it's really great that this is coincidentally the very first step because these pieces are very similar. So, you know, it would be kind of confusing. So we're going to keep these sitting like this. We know our center bra, inner cup, middle cup. Yeah, middle cup. Yeah, exactly. Okay. We know the little one goes in the middle. So that'll help us, right? And we have this one. And we have this one. And then we have the... We're just going to leave that like that, and we're actually going to set something on top of those so they don't move. When I'm sewing alone and I have things like this, what I do is I put them on a small cutting mat, and I like carry the cutting mat around, you know, just to make things so that it's not too loosey-goosey. I think I'm going to use the wrong side of this stuff, which actually means... This is the wrong side, and this is the wrong side. So we're going to switch these two. This is the wrong side, and this is the wrong side. So we're going to flip these two as well. There we go. All right, so now we have the same fabric facing up. I know you can't tell, but I can. Yeah, try it. All right. let's do these 3 over here since they're in the way of my machine first. I mean, because it's not stretch, it's a pretty easy to sew this together. And there are some notches. I find sewing curves a lot easier without pins. You see I'm holding the 2 layers, one above the other. And then this one you can top stitch here. I hope I'm not doing this in the wrong order, but I could be. I very well could be. I was gonna pull up the directions to make sure. I don't wanna lead you guys astray, even though I'm just a beginner. Oh yeah, they do this one to this one first. So I should have done that first, sorry. We always start with the boo-boo. We always start with the boo-boo, so let me sew this first, and then we'll do the other one correctly. I don't think it'd make too much of a difference, but you never know. I trust the Cashmerette instructions after sewing so many of their patterns, that I know that they've tested things to see if you can do it a different way, because I've talked to them about things like that, so. Oh, you know what? I think I ended up doing the wrong fabric out. That's okay. It's going against my body. I don't really care. All right, so this is that side, like under your arm, going to the center cup. There we go, that fits better. Yeah. And I think we press our seams toward the cup, right? Match single notch. Okay, so trim and seam. Oh, okay, I can trim these a lot more. And towards the middle cup. All right, so let's trim this. We're getting our feet under us. We're gonna trim this down. I think what's neat about bra making is the lack of seam finishing, you know? Press it towards the middle cup. Now we're back on track. There we go. There we go. That's awesome, Julie. I love to hear that. All right, now we're going to trim this and we're going to top stitch it as well. Scissor ASMR is kind of the only ASMR I'm down for. How about you guys? And then we're going to press the seam toward the middle cup and top stitch it. I think if, you know, like when something is really good, like it's really just like great, right? But I think when something is really, really good, then you really start to look for something that's like, to find fault with it, not to be negative, but it's almost like, oh, I can really refine this how I want. And I think the one thing I didn't like about this, wearing this last week so much, was this seam showed through all of my tops. That being said, you can tell that the way this one, can you see that the lace sort of hovers above, I don't know if you can see that, but the lace sort of hovers above the lining, and it's because of this seam allowance. I didn't top stitch this seam allowance on the lace because I just wasn't sure, like, is that okay to do on lace or not? and I didn't want to take a chance. I did do it on the inner cup. I actually did both. So the lace is sticking up kind of above, and because between the lace being kind of a texture seam and the seam allowance not being stitched down, I could see that through the, you know, through the shirts. I didn't really like that. So I didn't top stitch this one here. I'm not sure they do, but I'm going to top stitch it anyway because I want it as flat as possible. And I would do this usually after the first seam. I've made the swim top and I can, as we thought. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Oh, well then this should be easy peasy for you then, right? Yeah, same, Christina. I never buy lace bras unless it's like totally smooth. It's just like a sheer type of thing for the same reason. But sometimes you just don't have choices, which is super annoying, you know? And with the kits, I knew I wanted something that was really neutral because I thought like, well, what if this works out and I really love it, but I don't really want to sew it again. Let's get something that I could wear under a lot of things. So that was my rationale for picking this one. All right, this time I'm going to top stitch this before we sew the next seam. Yeah, I think that I used the sheer part of the lace fabric that didn't have any lace as my little like center cup thing, and I think that wasn't a good idea either. I should have used the sheer cup that came with the sheer lining that came with the kit, because the edges of it where it's sewn into the center, like right here, is very scratchy. Okay. Then we're going to repeat this for the outer layer as well. So this is my lining that I'm doing right now. It is sparkly. I have the instructions over the, but it's not looking really bad like it did yesterday. So I'm happy with that. Aisha, are you actually sewing yours with me today? I know you were thinking about trying. This is, by the way, a really good example. You see this point right here? This is a really good example of how seam allowances line up, because it's very confusing when you're first learning how to add seam allowances to patterns, but right here, the tip of this point right here, that's the seam line. Because if you were to put the ruler on here, a 1/4 inch parallel to the edge, do you see how my ruler lines up to that point? This one's nice and obvious. And then because of that, then you get a nice smooth line here, if you sew it better than I do. I'm trying and already made a boo-boo, I think. Oh, no, really? Oh. Oh, I know. Yeah, are you talking about the choices in the kits? Because I saw the hunting orange too, and I was like, yeah, no, I can't do hunting orange. I mean, maybe if I was a topless deer hunter, that would be really great. But for me, a lot of my clothes are lighter in color, so everything will show through. Yeah. There was a really long time where the only bras we could find were t-shirt material. And yeah, t-shirt material will pill. Oh, I could do this seam allowance a little bit bigger here, because I didn't quite catch There we go. I could see a little bit of the seam poking through there. All right, so now we're gonna put this toward the middle cup as well. I'm still looking at these as practice bras. I think it takes off the pressure. I'm not too worried about things like, do I want this to turn out nice? I do, but I'm still learning, and I'd much rather take the experience to learn really nicely, or at least learn like how things are going. And then that way, when I finally kind of understand all the moving parts, I can like make something I like a lot, so. Topless deer, that is an image. I wonder if you're seeing the hunting, or well, you said hunting orange ready to wear bra. I wonder if that Loftus kit that's hunting orange is inspired by that, which would be kind of fun. Well, you know, like maybe it's a trend. I don't know, maybe it's for Burning Man. Okay, now we're gonna repeat. Why are you guys pressing the seams? No, I'm not gonna press. I mean, I can press that by pulling apart really hard and pressing firmly, you know. Okay. I have not sewn with chiffon since I was 27 years old. I know that. Isn't that crazy? I'm pretty sure. Maybe I did a project after that for a client, but we used to have it in the fabric store that I worked at. My foot pressure is a little too much for this fabric. And we had silk chiffon. We had poly and silk. Is this the right one? It is. Oh, yeah, I kind of want one of those rollers. Yeah, so I'm making the 34G. I have a pretty small rib cage. I always used to always buy 36 double D, but every time I get size, they're like, you're a 34, and I'm like, that sounds terrible. That sounds tight. The way I like make sure the seam allowance is pressed too is like I lift up this one. This is the side that the seam is pressing toward, right? And then I push down this fabric here, and then I ensure that all the seam allowance is pressed that way. That's probably a really natural thing everybody does. I don't know though, so I thought I'd mention that. And that's why I'm always going like lifting up and pulling over to make sure, because some seam allowances don't want to stay pressed the direction you're pressing. They might just be a little fluffier, you know, so. Yeah, that's what I think too, Rhonda. Yeah, sometimes it's like, if it were something like a cotton, it'd be more compliant, but you can kind of tell some fabrics are just going to be they're going to be harder to press than sew, so I just go for it. And I think bag making for so long, see, when I'm going around a curve, this fabric is so light, I have to keep releasing the pressure of the presser foot. That's why I keep lifting it up. Because of that curve, it's got a lot of bias, and the fabric just wants to like go, you know. All right, so here we go. Make sure we catch that this time a little nicer. Did I trim this one? Oh, I did. Okay, yeah, I don't remember doing that. Wait, didn't the other one line up all the way up to there? It did, right? Okay, let's do that again. Let's do that again. We're not accepting that. You can catch up with me now, Aisha. I studied the instructions a little bit before streaming. Yesterday, I read them while I was walking. And then today, I wrote them out. So I always do that like this, even when I'm not on stream. This kind of helps me stay better on track, respecting the instructions if I want to use their instructions. I'm not magically like, and I have the instructions able to be pulled up. Like they're not like in front of me right now, but they're open on my computer, so I can click it just to make sure. I'm sure I'm not doing these exactly the way they're listed, but okay. So this time we're going to make sure I'm going to loosen my presser foot pressure too, and we're going to make sure we make it all the way up here. And I'll just put a little pin there. I had notches and I was lining up to the notches, so we'll just double check. Oh, here's this notch. Okay, here's the other notch. I could barely see that one. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to the notches. Oh, I mean, if you've got a boob ham, you want to be able to use it. Pressing really does wonders, and I'm definitely team pressing. But you know, like when you factory sew a lot, you don't iron at all, and it becomes very normal. I'm having trouble getting this one to match as well, and I think it's just there's so much bias with the chiffon. What happens is the feed dogs pull more of the fabric than you want to be pulling. So I know it's possible for a lot of things to be sewn without an iron. Do I think it comes out as nice? No. I think it comes out nicer when you iron. Do those hams come in different sizes? I guess you could just make one. I used a rolled up towel for the longest time for a lot of my stuff like that. All right. We're going to press that toward the center cup. Okay, there we go. Oh, came unthreaded. I got this free little needle threader recently, and it broke. I thought I'm gonna try and use this. I like put a little like magnet to it. Okay, the trick of wetting the needle instead of the thread works so good. Look at that. Thanks for whoever told me that here. Oh, interesting, Christina. Oh yeah, you could just make a bra cup in your size. Huh. That's a really big fly. Can you guys hear it? I'm really excited about this bra. I feel like this one's going to be so soft. I already really like the other one. That's so pretty. I love this fabric. I think it'll be a little too visual under my clothes, but it's pretty. Okay. And look at it over the fabric. I think it looks even nicer. Once I realized that, wait, I do this one first. Once I realized that bras could be made with woven fabrics, I became a lot more intrigued with making them, because it just meant like someone said yesterday, like they used Liberty of London, or no, they used cotton lawn. Like, can you imagine a Liberty of London bra? That sounds amazing. I would like that. And then you could buy fat quarters. I can. Like, I got this out of a fat quarter, and it calls for 5/8 or 3/4 of a yard, but I got it out of a fat quarter, and I didn't have to struggle to do that. So that's very exciting to me. Okay. Oh no, this is, have you seen photos of this? I would look it up. The fact that it's no underwire and has a ton of support, it's supportive. It's more supportive than my underwire bra that's ready to wear. And no underwire. Like, I love that, you know? Yeah, check out the photos of it. It's linked in the description. The photo is in the description of this live stream. So it's handy. I'd put a link in chat, but it'll take me a second to do that because I have to like search for it. All right, last one. Yeah, I don't want to do underwire either, but it's not easy to find bras without them in some sizes. Okay, so let's do this. Yeah, I mean, there is that. I mean, if you really want like a pocket for each boob, you're probably looking at something more along the lines of a sports bra. I didn't feel like they're mashed together though. I live somewhere very hot and sweaty, so that is just not gonna fly for me. No skin contact, you know, like I don't want a lot of like contact here. And that little sheer thing, I feel like while it's there to like kind of support the top of the bra, I feel like it's not as structural as it seems. The bra would do all that without it. You don't have to use sheer lining. I'm not. Look, I'm not here to convince you to make this bra. You can do whatever you want. I'm not selling anything here. I'm just here to sew, you know. And I am no expert on the bra making scene. There is a ton of patterns out there. So, yeah, you can This is like probably one of the most personal pieces of clothing we all wear, right? We all have so many opinions about this. Oh shoot, I got a little boop right there. That's what I was worried about earlier too. Yeah, I don't like sell, like, I don't get anything for sewing people's patterns. So yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not using sheer either. What did I use on the, oh, I used the micro duoplex on the other one. I feel like my tension has slightly changed a little bit. All right, I'm gonna pull this over a little better. There we go. Oops, I sort of did a 1/4 inch seam there. I gotta take that out. I had already trimmed it, so I can't do a 1/4 inch seam there. Let's take that out. But the tension doesn't look great anymore. That's what I was thinking it was gonna be, Julie, but this is definitely gonna be an everyday for me. The Misa is more of a weekend. But like I said, I have hardly any bra experience, so those are the only two I know. Oh no, see that? Tension's not good. Where's the, there it is. I didn't really test this just on itself, so let's. Okay, that's almost there. You like yours in what? Just re-sewing this. Okay, now we're up here in this little area that I'm fixing. And get rid of these threads. Let's just take this all the way to the end so that we have a cleaner looking seam. Wardrobe by Me emailed me yesterday, and she was so sweet. She said that they're releasing a new pattern, and I did the how-to video for it a really long time ago, so I'll just show you that one. I don't actually have the sample. She's been having me mail them to her, so I don't even think I have like photos of it. I don't even know if I tried it on, to be honest. I totally forgot. I tried one thing on. So I'll have to send that. It's called the Car Coat. She really is so excited about it. So that's kind of cool. Okay, stop sewing this at 1/4 inch seams, Jeremy. Otherwise, you're going to have one tight cup and one looser cup. Yeah, I kind of did, but we're going to take that. This tension looks good now. All right. Now I can top stitch this. Your Misa has pockets. Oh, I see. You like yours in yours. Yours meaning yours. Okay. Yeah, that's how I'm fitting the Misa. I'm like, okay, this thing is, I just had the absolute wrong size. Whoops. Huh. Sharp little scissors cut a little too easy sometimes. All right. You missed this. I mean, it's not that I'm not live streaming like that much less. I was out of town for a week this month at PatternCon. I love live streaming. I really wish that it paid the bills, but it just doesn't. So this is kind of my fun time. And when I do it during the week, it means it's a whole week I don't work. So it's kind of a tricky balance, you know, and I know you guys understand that. Because this is like, I love this too. But I actually love workshop too, because in workshop, you know, I get to like answer like a variety of things. Like we talk about so many different things here. Oh my goodness. I don't want my thread to come. Okay. All right. We have cups. Now I think we get to the fun stuff. We're going to tack our power bar. I haven't eaten one of those in years. I'm going to start tucking my pattern pieces under here. And we're going to get out. We don't have many pattern pieces left. We have our power bar here. And we have our little band. Hi, Kara, how's it going? Michael's already gone at least a week, a month, which also adds to my work. You know, like my lack of time for work, you know? We should all be thanking Michael that I'm able to do a lot of this, right? Granted, I just couldn't find a, you know, job in this area doing what I do once I had to close the factory. That's awesome, Jan. I love that. I'm glad. Me too. All right. I'm going to make a sandwich with the power bar. So I am putting, here's my lining, and I have it wrong side up, and then I'm lining up the power bar in here. And we're going to tack all of the edges down around the perimeter of this with this inside. It just kind of free floats in there, except where it's tacked down around the perimeter. Like this. So we're just going to line up. And you can do this in 2 steps, but I'm going to do it in 1. Yeah, I'm really glad I get to use this fabric, Amy. I thought, oh man, a fat quarter of chiffon. What would I ever use that for? And then when we started, like, you know, it was becoming apparent I really was going to sew a bra. And then I was kind of trying to see, like, well, what in my stash do I have, like, of supplies? It was like, it was when I was, you know, moving into the cottage and going through every single item I own. I touched everything. And some things I was just like, you know, is this usable? I just started trying to think, like, what could this be used for? And then it hit me. I was like, well, maybe I'll put this in a little section for potentially a bra. I don't know. All right, where is that? It's right here. Okay. Do we line? I think we line this point up right here. I think there's something about this in the instructions, so I'm going to look at it real quick to make sure. Maybe in the fall, everyone will be less busy. It's a very busy time of year for people. I didn't even look. Yeah, like 35 people here. That's actually about right on average. But when it's not such a busy time of year, you know, we'll see more people. But yeah, like when school year starts up in the fall, like when it's transitioning, I feel like it's so busy for people. Okay, so this little spot, I feel like there was a little note about, I went back to the old Acrobat, and so I'm trying to remember where things are. It's kind of funny, but I love being back with the old Acrobat. Oh yeah, so you line, okay. Make sure the side seam and the start of the power bar are lined up, and the lower end of the power bar meets the lower notch on the raw edge of the inner cup. The notch, which I probably didn't notch at that juncture right there. Okay, so here we go. Here's one. Just making sure it's all laying nice and flush. The next thing I'm going to stream, I don't know when, but is going to be a hoodie or not a hoodie. I'm going to do a full zip fleece jacket. Basically something with a separating zipper. I wanted it to have a hood, but it sounds like people are really interested in adding a zipper to a jacket that has a collar instead. So I'm going to do that. That would actually be fine with me. I got some really great fabric recently that I was planning on doing anyway, and then people were saying that, so I was like, oh, cool. That works. Still kind of trying to decide on the pattern. I think a week, well, I don't think Julie could. She'd be asleep. Maybe her weeknight, if that's what you mean. I think the U.S. crowd, especially out west, there's just not as many of those folks in the guild, since I sort of cultivated a East Coast European crowd because of the time I stream. Yeah, doing the hood, I was thinking that, I am kind of waffling on that, Michelle, because I was thinking that maybe I would have the stuff on hand to show that as well, like what I would do there. There's so many options that it would be honestly a really good YouTube series, but I'm just going to level with y'all. Fittopedia is never going to happen if I do anything but that. Like, that's just how it is. It's so consuming. So, something's got to give, and it's really hard because the channel's doing really good, and that is something I am interested in, the channel doing good. So it's hard to not do the you know, content that helps that, because there's a lot of people that just do not care about live streams. Yeah, isn't it pretty? I'll have to track down who this designer was. This is from Spoonflower, by the way. So you can order this print on any fabric you want. You could have a hoodie in this fabric. Like, you can print any design on any fabric there. So, yeah. I can look up the designer if anyone interested. Just send me a message so I remember, and I'll let you know what it is. It may take me a little bit of hunting around in my receipts. Thankfully, I haven't made a ton of Spoonflower orders, so it won't be too hard to find. I think a lot of her designs, because I remember it being a woman, I think it seems like it's a woman, are a lot on this kind of vein. So yeah, the watercolor it's so pretty. I love watercolor. All right, so now I'm just gonna stay stitch all 3 layers together around the perimeter at an 1/8 inch seam. Yeah, I should have mentioned that earlier. Yeah, because you could make pajamas or a dress or whatever. There may even be different scales of the print, meaning that there could be a smaller version, which would be, honestly, like, that would have been so pretty on a bra, a smaller scale of this print. But my experience is that most of the designers that are regularly selling on there are pretty open to making a change if you want one. So if you ever see a design on there, you can always say, hey, I really love this. Can you do it in a scale where the flowers are 1/2 inch, you know? So, hey, Donna, how's it going? Nice to see you. How you been? So, because I just did that recently. I have a project coming out with Cashmerette on the 1st. And because of the nature of the project, I needed fabrics to coordinate with one another. And I thought, you know, I'm gonna try Spoonflower. It's a little pricey, but let's just see what I find. I can't wait for you guys to see it because I feel like some people are gonna be like, girl. And others will be like, oh, that's cool. Because my husband definitely did the, and then when he saw it on, he was like, oh, okay. I was like, I don't trust you, but whatever. But I found the print I liked, and I needed 2 solids to coordinate with it. And I emailed the designer, and I just said, hi, you know, I'm just kind of curious if you would share the Spoonflower color number of these 3 colors in your design, because I'm making something and I need some coordinates and I really like this print. And she replied by the next morning, and she had uploaded solids with those colors so that I could just order it immediately. I was like, oh my gosh, because I was like, okay, because once I had the number, I was gonna have to like create a design and then upload it and then order it. And you know, I don't do that a lot, so I definitely feel like dicey, you know. So yeah, she just did that, and I could immediately order it, and it all matched perfectly. So that was really cool. And then the best part about all of that was that from the day I found the print and emailed her to the next day, the fabric went 30% off. So I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna happen. I can do this. Like, I can't really ask for much better than that. Are you ready for the fall, Donna? How's your garden doing and stuff? I'm sort of pushing on this top layer because I don't want it to like scooch, you know. You were kind of in a sewing storm this summer too, Donna. Pretty cool. The sewing mojo bit you again. Okay. Does this all feel like things, if you've never sewn a bra and you've been nervous, so far does this all feel like stuff you're like, oh, okay. This isn't bad. I think if Cashmerette had asked me to do this as a video, I would have been like, but now I think like I wish they would have, because I would have learned so much sooner that I could do it, you know? I once applied for a video making position for a pattern company, and they had you check boxes of all the things you knew how to sew, and I checked all the boxes but one, and it was the bra thing. And it felt like such a huge sore thumb sitting there glaring at me, but I'm very honest, because like what if they were planning on going into lingerie right at that moment and I clicked that, you know, like that would have been so terrible for all of us. So but I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this. I'm failing, when I could click all 20 other boxes, you know, and confidently. But that one I was like, I've drafted a lot of patterns. I've worked at a fitness apparel company. We drafted bras. I had a department to sew for me. I didn't have to do it. So I didn't have to know anything. They handled all that. I use the materials that they have in-house. So it's not like I have to troubleshoot that. Yeah, exactly. You just got to push yourself, you know, and I love pushing myself, but I don't know. I also had my reasons why I didn't want it. All right, where are we at? We're going to attach the back band. Oh, we're going to do the back band. Yay. Okay. Here's the back band. I keep thinking we're going to switch to the home machine, but not yet. All right, so let's take a gander at this little pattern piece. It goes like this, okay? All right, that's how it goes, like that, okay. Neat. Yeah, exactly. I think that the one thing about the fitting is that you can be so literal about it. You know, like, you know, let's say the cups are kind of baggy and you can pinch a horizontal amount out. Well, you could literally pinch that out and then just chop that off the paper, right? You just cut it there and overlap at that amount. Or say you need it longer for that reason. Oh, you don't want it to cut in so far? Well, then you make this a little shallower. You need the strap shorter. So what I love about really small pieces with lots of seams is you have so many fitting opportunities, because you don't have to do some crazy like slashing and overlapping and making sure seams match sometimes, you know. You might have to. What if you want to take out this little wedge, but you don't want it to go through the armhole or the center front? Well, that's okay, right? With this little piece here, right? You can literally take that little bit out to nothing right here at the seam, right? Right, so this seam stays the same, but you take this wedge out and then you just blend that together. And if you do the same on the seam that this is, you know, sewing to right here, right? Take a little bit, but nothing here, then boom, you know, that seam is still going to sew together. So I think that fitting bras, like from this standpoint, that's pretty approachable. When it's finding the underwire, that does seem like a whole other adventure to go on, and I don't have any experience with that, so. Do you? No, it just says 2 power mesh. That's it. Should I have? Then it wouldn't stretch though, right? I was questioning that earlier because like when I was writing the directions, I was like, wait, how do I finish the edges here? And then I realized that the armhole gets the elastic. So, all right, now I'm going to top. So I just trimmed it and now I'm going to top stitch. I know this is going to sneak under my needle or my scissors. And you know, like I was saying earlier, I think the other thing is giving yourself the gift of experimenting. Yeah, I'm experimenting on nice fabrics, but remember, this was a piece of fabric that I thought was never going to get to be used. So it's really great that I can use it for my second bra ever, you know, but I'm using a muslin kit to make for the rest of the pieces, which is the, you know, the fitting kits, you know. This is going to be a very pretty trial. You know, it's just, it's just how, it's just lucky. Otherwise, it would have just been the sheer that came with the muslin kit. I think I wasn't supposed to, is this supposed to be a bigger seam allowance? I might have been wrong on this one. No, it's quarter. Never mind, okay, I'm okay. I've been sewing lots of different things lately, and I definitely have to keep my head screwed on straight with the seam allowances because they are a little different. All right, so here we go. We have, this is where we're at so far. Cool, all right. I got the fitting kit from Porcelain because she was selling them at Pattern Con. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. Now we're gonna do the insert. I feel like I would really like to put a dot of things I've done. Attach back. Okay, we're here. There we go. Yeah, it's looking great. Yeah, I don't think they're shipping right now, Aisha, right? All right, so now we're doing the little insert. So I'm using the sheer from the bra making kit, or the muslin kit. All right, and I'm doing the higher neck, not the lower one. So this is how they look. There's 4 of them. They're invisible on camera. And we're gonna do this. This is, I felt like the only thing that confused me. So I'm gonna do this top edge first, right sides together. Well, I can't tell what's right side and what's wrong on this stuff. I noticed that I didn't do one of the steps last time. I didn't realize it until now, but I didn't. I'm pretty sure I didn't. You're supposed to zigzag over the center seam there. Yeah, I didn't do that. All right, so there's that. There's one. And then we trim and top stitch, right? Oh, right, exactly, Aisha. Yeah, they'll ship to you. They're just not shipping to us. Makes sense. So then you press the seam allowance open, like this, and get rid of this little bit of thread vomit right there. Since everything shows with sheer. All right, so I press this little seam open right here. And now I'm going to fold along that edge and we're going to top stitch it. Pressing it will help it fold really nicely along this edge here. I should be using a little like leader, whatever those things are called, like when you sew onto the fabric off of something else. All right, so we have one. I think I could have trimmed that down. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do the other one. So that is this piece here, like that. Oh, really? Is it because the hole that the needle goes into is really large? Okay. Or is the needle too big because it's pushing it down in there? Get rid of this little bit of thread. All right. And top stitch. Kind of just pulling it so it gets right on the edge there. Okay, so now we have 2 of these, like this. And now we're going to sew these together. this isn't confusing to me now, but I keep second guessing myself. I'm like, okay, this is going really good. So I'm gonna put these like this together. So I essentially, like, you're sewing all 4 layers together. Okay, let me line up all these layers here. All right, let's get rid of some of these little threads though. God, I'm having trouble with this wrist again. All right, here we go. I think there's, yeah, look at that, there's more foot there. More shenanigans with thread. I just want it to look nice, you know? Okay, that looks good. All right, I just saw another thread right here. Look at that. How'd these guys escape? Sheesh. All right. I like the idea of that, Tanya. The way the band is at the bottom, though, would be kind of tricky on this bra. You know what I mean? Why am I slouching? Jeez Louise. Okay, so then it says to top stitch with the zigzag. 5 millimeters wide and 0.5 long. Oh, see, I did not do this. I was also supposed to stop from at the 1/4 inch from the bottom, right? Yeah, I was. So let's fix that. So here's my insert, right? These are all the threads that I've removed, except for this guy. What are you doing? What do you think you're doing? It's like they're multiplying like rabbits. Jeez Louise. We're gonna stop down here. 1/4 inch from the bottom. Oh, that sounds great, Rhonda. I don't have those options with my industrial, but I think that would be really helpful with your home machine. I probably should have done that one extra stitch I just did, but it's okay. We will make this work. This is so that you get that little peak right there where the elastic meets there to work really nicely, so don't skip that. I need to write that on my little cheat sheet that I made myself. All right, so now we're gonna pull up the home machine and try and do the, let's see if we can, oh, that works pretty good actually. I have my needles taped here. I'm tired of trying to keep track of my needles and not paying attention to what I'm using to keep track of my needles. So I was like, let's make this more obvious because what I was doing before, I was not paying attention to. So I put it like right in front of my face. I'm starting with a stretch needle. We'll see how that goes. It's size 9, it's so tiny, and I don't think this is what worked for me last time. This thread's not gonna go through there, I can tell you that right now. It's too thick. this is a size 70 thread, and it's mainly because I like the color. So let's try this other one, which is lighter weight, and if not, I'll use a bigger needle. But there's no way I was gonna be able to thread that. This is like the fastest machine to thread, man. Except for the needle. There we go. I got it. I got it. All right, we have a little bit of shear down here somewhere. No, not really. I'm just going to get the bobbin started. Oh, I don't have the pedal plugged in. I didn't want you to have to look at this cord sitting here. All right. Don't go under there. Okay, there we go. I would like a piece of the shear. I just want to go get a little piece of the shear. So I have some in the trash. I can only find the other things. So we'll just sew on here and see. Five wide, 0.5. Is that for reals? Seems. Yep. That's like a wide bar tack. All right, let's just see how it does on here. All right, we're gonna press this open. I can't see what you can see. We'll press this open. Here's my hair marker. I'm going to start above where I left it open there. I don't think the shear is going to be a problem for sewing. It's more like the elastics and stuff. I'm gonna lighten my presser foot pressure. Okay, that's too much. Ooh, I don't actually sew with this machine very much, so I'm a little unfamiliar with that. This seems so heavy to do this. My other bra does not have this. And I was a little bit worried about this little spot when you're like putting it on and stuff. I swear I did it centered over the seam, but it doesn't look like it because I think it sucked in my seam allowance on this side. So I'm going to trim the seam allowance down on this side. These scissors are so dangerous. They're so sharp. Getting a little nervous down here. Okay. Phew. All right. Oh, there's some too. Let's get rid of that. I don't like being able to see it on the right side. That's why I'm trimming it. Yeah, I don't think I could see that in the photos either. Mine doesn't have it. Mine looks so delicate now because of, look at this, is chonka. Okay, where are we at? We've got the insert done. Okay, we get to do the neckline elastic. We're making a bra. I have my, okay, the single knot was the neckline, right? Double was the armhole because I did it second, correct? So here's my neckline elastic. Oh, we didn't put the insert onto the, oh yeah, we don't. Yeah, okay. I know what I'm doing. Next, yeah, okay. So let's get a bra. Just gonna pull this back a little so you can kind of see what's in front of me here. And clean things up a little bit. I don't think I have enough fabric in the, oh no, I have the thicker bobbin on. Okay. Neckline elastic. So we're going to stretch this basically between the bottom and there's a notch around here. I think it's like right here. And we're not going to stretch it above that. So basically you're going to leave it flat to here and then stretch it the rest of the way. Boop, boop. Hi, Surebear, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. You haven't missed much. I mean, you haven't missed many live streams. What's the stitch, isn't it? Like 2.5 and 3. 2.5 width and 3 length for my zigzag. Oops. 2.5. Did I just do that stitch on a straight stitch? But I think I just forced my machine into a zigzag. That's kind of funny. So we're going from here to here, going all the way down here. And you want this little corner of the elastic right here, not to stop at that notch, but to go to the edge of the fabric. Otherwise, when you turn it like this, see how that, like if I had done it, if I stopped at this notch right here and I turn it, you see how it falls short? So make sure you put the corner of the picot all the way down. And we're sewing this at a 1/4 inch seam. And now we're going to see how the stretch stitch is doing on this machine. No whammies. I would really like it if you would sew straight though. That'd be great. This is doing good. So I let it relax, and then I stretch it, and then I sew. Don't pull on it after you start. All right, all the way up to the top. I'm kind of fighting for my life getting a 1/4 inch seam though. Great. I don't think I got any skip stitches. That's crazy. See, it's kind of ruffled between down low, like that. Let's do our other one. What you been up to, Sure Bear? All right. I can hear like a critter out there. Oops. We almost put that on backwards. Plush side up. That was one thing I found really confusing about the way the Misa talked about the right side of the elastic. They talked about the plush side being the right side of the elastic, but in my head it's the wrong side because it's not going toward the garment. And I can see why they're saying it that way, but they explained so much about it that I was like genuinely confused. It's kind of funny. And I get it, like it's, you think, oh, well, that's the good side, like we want that against our body. It's the right side. But in the world of like sewing, you know, like when you're sewing things right sides together, that, you know, unless it's you're putting something under something and top stitching it down, but usually we're putting it right sides together and flipping it, you know. All right, and so now I'm up to this point here, and we're going to start stretching. Oh, it's hard to hold on to it. Hey, Rachel. You working like crazy? Aw, I bet. I hope you get to do it some soon then. I'm gonna trim this. It's sticking out past my chiffon too. Okay. Now I think we're going to turn and top stitch. 2.5 by 3 this time. We're still there. That's the same thing. Oh no. Now we're top stitching. Oh no, we're going to put the insert in first. I'm glad I'm like, I have my instructions, but I often like will write all those out and then I still look at the real instructions. It's almost like I'm studying for an exam, and if I write it out, it helps, you know. And you know, I'd rather go towards the source. All right, this is the right side. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna put this on here. The seam between the side cup and the bottom of the lower notch. Okay, so we want this to line up at the top with our seam here. Right? Oh, it's quail, that's what I hear. And then down here, the notch. We have a mama and a baby deer that's living between our two driveways right now, and lately I've only seen the baby, and my husband was like, I've only seen the baby lately. I'm getting worried about the mom, and I'm like, I just don't think the baby would be doing well if the mom, we lost the mom, you know? And moms can, you know, the babies need to like go off on their own a little bit so they can start learning, right? Well, today, me and Loki, right before we came in here, we took a loop. And so when we do a loop, we do, you know, we go down one driveway and up the other driveway, and it's like a 1/4 mile. And as we had gone down the driveway and gone to the road, and we were coming back our other driveway, and I could see at the top towards our house, there was the mom and the baby. So that was good news that I saw the mom with the baby finally. But Loki didn't see him. Thankfully, he has bad eyesight for things like this. And I picked him up because he was like, wait, I want to go back the way we came. I need to do my whole, like, you know, sniff regimen. So I picked him up, walked back down to the street, and it's getting kind of hot. And, you know, he's closer to the ground anyway, so he doesn't really mind being picked up when it's really warm like that. And I don't want him sitting on the ground because they just can't handle that breed, you know. Yeah, I think so too, Aisha. Or maybe she's just like chilling in the nest. Is that what you call a deer bed? Deer nest. You know, because baby's got to learn. All right, there we go. And then we're going to top stitch this, right? Yeah, 3.5 by 3. So I'm going to do both so that then I'll just switch my thing. Look at it, it's looking pretty. I think this sheer looks a little white for this, but it's a sample. Okay, now we're going to do this one. Tell me if you can't see something if you're wanting to, because I have so many windows up on my screen right now, I can't see everything at once. They were there all day. Aw. Mom was like, stay here at your auntie's house. Don't go anywhere until I get back. You know, she was like, don't move. I'll tell you what, these fabrics are such a better experience than sewing my first bra. My machine just hated the micro duoplex. What was that? Oh, it's me. My knee hit something. That fabric is infamous for being really hard. It's like sewing Kevlar, which is like this bulletproof material. And I eventually did get it, and I found that a Microtex needle was the ticket. So if you're struggling a lot, try everything. Just try everything, even the ones that aren't for knits. You just never know. Microtex is kind of the answer for so many things. So it's helpful, you know, to know that. Except Christina, that's funny. Her machine loves it. We all need that little machine she has. I don't know if it's little, but you know what I mean. Okay. It does look like milk. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I'm excited. All right. Okay. Now we're going to top stitch. So we're going to flip the elastic, and our top stitch is different. It's going to be 3.5 by 5. I have to admit, 3.5 by what? By 3. I'm sorry, I don't know why I just said 5. 3.5 by 3. I have to admit, I probably would be not switching my lengths and widths of the zigzag if Cashmerette didn't supply it, and they do in all their directions. They make me a little better of a sewist than I am, I think. This is the kind of thing right here that I feel like I need to get better at, like where I like things, what seam allowances I like. But I love the way zigzag looks with knit sewing. And I know not everybody does. They want their stuff to look more like ready to wear. Not me. I love the way the zigzag looks. Now I'm kind of in this stretch section, so I'm trying to stretch it, and it's on a curve. Definitely lagging a little bit. There we go. kind of having to like pull it down like this because of the stretched fabric. I don't want to get wrinkles. I might get one though. I keep hearing this squeak, and it's my foot pedal, which has never squeaked before. Looks so good. This makes me feel so like accomplished, you know? Come on, Aisha, pick it up. I'm just teasing. I think you guys underestimate how much I prepare for a stream. So like everything is right here. If I'm just like sewing on my own, I will sometimes start sewing before I have everything next to me. And then I'm getting up and going across the room for stuff, or getting distracted looking at something, or, you know, I'm not as fast as it seems because really I just have everything available. Oh, yeah, exactly, Aisha. Yeah, I'm not really teaching, am I? There must be a video sew along for this bra, right? Oh yeah, pinning does take a bit, but it also makes your sewing faster. Is the sewing done by, oh, that's what I was going to ask, is if Jennifer Fairbanks, who is porcelain, and she helped design this bra, right? Or designed it. I don't know. I thought that was a thread right there. Okay. What's next? We're doing our neck, our armholes? We are. Okay, got my armholes right here. Oh yeah, I bet that stuff is slippery. The chiffon has a lot of mechanical stretch. Like it's not a stretchy fabric, but like look at, you know, it's pretty stretchy just because of however it's woven. All right, so now we have the armhole elastic. And I need to put this plush side up. And we're not going to stretch it between here and here, or when we get to this strap area. There's no reason for it to stretch. We just want it to stretch in the underarm there. So I'm going to pin that. And you're chatting a lot, yeah. You've got new responsibilities and you're taking them seriously. You don't have to though. I will yell at you if I need you. You can focus on sewing. I don't want modding to ever get in the way of your guys' enjoyment. What you do while you watch a stream. Okay, so I'm flattening this out between here and here. And then we're gonna stretch that. Boop, boop, like that, okay? Okay. All right, what's our seam? Tell me, Cashmerette, tell me. 2.5. Oops, I keep moving the needle. It's so annoying. 2.5 and 3. Yeah, which is fine. Okay. My God, the squirrels are going crazy up there. Yeah, you are doing great. I'll have to get my oh, I forgot I really want to pad my form like I learned at the pattern con, but I should get my padding, my form kit from Amazon that I got out and put my bra on there. There's a bunch of like cups you can put in there. All right, so let's see. A little bit of a curve here. I'm gonna stretch it, and now I'm gonna hold it right here so I don't have to stretch the whole distance. I've been watching a series that's new to me but not new on Netflix called The Sinner, and it showed it to me with the fourth season first, which doesn't matter. Each season it's its own little capsule, to use a sewing term. And all during this last season, so I watched the fourth season, and then I watched the first season and the second season. And all during the last half of the second season, I thought I was on the last season that I had. And all I could think of was, this is it. It's really good. I really like it. And it finished last night. And then it went into a whole nother season. I had counted wrong. There are only 4 seasons, but for some reason in my head, I thought I'd watched 3 of them. I was just on my 3rd one. So I was like, yay, there's a whole nother one. I did take a class on padding my form. I'm not going to use the Amazon kit. I bought it before I knew I was taking that class, and her method's way better. So yeah, I'm going to do the way she has you do it. All right, so I had this little bit of unevenness on my band, so I'm just going to trim that flush here. Short blades make choppy cuts. Okay, and now, same with this one here. I should have watched the video tutorial by Jennifer Fairbanks. That would have been really smart of me. Yeah, she was, if anyone gets a chance to take a class from Brooks Ann Camper, she was so fun. She was hilarious. And she was all in. Like, she's all in. I was like, dang it for blushing, because I just couldn't do things like this. All right, I'm going to line this up here. Yeah, it was fun to be able to go up to the porcelain little booth and say, I just sewed my very first bra, and it was the Loftus. She goes, I designed that. And I was like, I know. So it was kind of fun to say that. I mean, she didn't know who I was from anybody, but... Oops, I got to put some tension back here. Oh, dang. I keep pulling out my pins because it's all so stretchy. Why didn't I pin this first? Jeez Louise. Really made that fussy for myself. Trim this. Does anyone ever overlock these things together? All right, now we're going to top stitch. 3.5 by 3. Hi, Nancy. The notifications are a tricksy beast. You know, another thing I've learned about bra making is that you might be putting fabrics together you don't think will work, like this like tan color with everything, but then once you're sewing it, it's fine. And that's one thing I'm learning, is that I can be less worried about how it's gonna look, you know? You can also RSVP to the stream in the guild and it'll remind you, but it's only gonna remind you like right before. Oh geez. Oh, we broke a needle. Bound to happen, I wasn't paying attention right there. Make sure you get all the needle. Yeah, the notifications are weird. It depends on where you're expecting to get it. If you're expecting to get it like on your phone, then your phone's notifications need to be on for that app. And then they also need to be on in YouTube. So if you're like, I don't allow notifications on your phone, it's not going to tell you. But like there's a couple of things that I will sign up for the notification for, especially like actually events that are just really rare. And I have it email me. We're sewing the plastic cover. Oh no. Yeah, you gotta have the foot, right? Here, let's look at here. Just trimming that while I'm here. Oh, I thought I trimmed this thread just now. All right, where was that at? That's right here. This is a pretty lightweight needle. It's only size 9. I'm really surprised it's working. And I wasn't paying attention and I went over a seam and started pulling at the same time. Don't look at chat while you're sewing. See right here, it's kind of getting stuck, so I'm gonna help it a little bit forward. Oh, I have the buttonhole foot on. I really should have the zigzag foot. Hi, Cheyenne. I don't think I'm the best person to answer that, Cheyenne, because I'm kind of a newbie with this. I think it probably depends on the pattern and what the pattern needs for the structural like support. So if you were doing an underwire bra, I imagine that it's less critical. This one doesn't have any underwire, so it's probably something similar to it's going to be really helpful. Something that or something similar. Yeah, I feel like they get updates, Nancy, and then you're like, wait, what happened? How come I have to figure this out again? Oof, those match perfect. Nice. So yeah, Cheyenne, if you're looking for something like maybe because of a sensory thing or an allergy to synthetics, you might have to look into that. Looks good, looks good. Who made this? Oh, I have a skip stitch right there, and we're leaving it. Yeah, for this one, I feel like it's pretty important because there's no underwire. I could see that. And it is very, very supportive. So maybe if you did, you could try it without and see. Because I don't really know, like, what it would feel like without it. You know what I mean? Because it would be kind of interesting to see. What if it was something that didn't stretch? You know? Like, I don't know. I think that, I'm not calling anyone out right here, but one thing I have learned, and I have a point with this, with working with beginners, because I have been a beginner before as well, and when you're really excited about something new, you have all these ideas, and then you also, like, kind of beginners sometimes become some of the most creative in a new craft or whatever, because they push the boundaries because they don't know what the rules are. They don't know like what people have figured out before them. And I think like I'm the beginner in this situation, and so I haven't really pushed the bounds of what you can and can't do. But if I were curious about that, that's what I would do. I would probably, you know, leave out or change the power mesh to something else, right? And in some ways that's great, like, because you might discover something, but in other ways, and this is the other avenue with beginners who just go off kind of on like a different complete path because they're like being creative or whatever. It also ignores all of the inherited information and wisdom out there that is actually useful. And if you can kind of keep that kind of wisdom in your head as a guide for like why it got there, rather than this is the way it should be type of message, then I think that you can still be really creative and try new things while respecting the fact that others have tried things. They're not dumb. They're not creative. They've just figured out what works. And it doesn't mean that something new can't work, but maybe it's just so fraught with issues or limited success or the right set of circumstances that sometimes it's just not worth it. You know what I mean? Yeah, and the power bar is like, the mesh is like right here, which you can't see if you didn't see, but it's this. Oh no, it's not this. Let me show you the pattern piece. It likely is on the floor. No, it's not. Here we go. This right here, this whole piece, what does the camera look like right now? This is the whole mesh piece, and it's inside between this outer and inner layer here, right here. And it's just like free willy in there. It's only tacked around the edges, and this whole edge is loose inside there. So, all right, where are we at? We're at the finishing edges. Ooh, we get to do the bra band. Very exciting. I did not alter the pattern at all. No mods. Have you ever heard me say that? Okay, got my elastic. I already pre-stretched it yesterday before I cut it, just like all my elastics here. First thing we're gonna do is we're going to create a 90-degree angle like this. I'm just gonna use my industrial real quick. So I just tacked it down on these two sides there. I had pretty good luck with my first bra, getting this juncture right. So I'm hoping I do as well this time too. Because getting this point to line up with your center right there is probably really tricky, right? So it's lined up. Okay, I like to see how they do it. They have a lot of good explanations for it. I pre-stretched the elastic because have you ever made a waistband and you cut your elastic to measure to you and then it feels too big later on? It's likely because the elastic, once it got stretched once, it kind of stays that way. So if you can do an experiment with your elastic and measure it and then stretch it a few times and measure it again and see if it gets larger. I actually learned that from you guys. All right, so here we have our juncture, right? So the way you look at it is if I'm looking at it a quarter of an inch from the edge there, that juncture is like right here, right? So we want that to land right there. Oh, and then we're going to do this from the bra side. And we're just going to sew it for a little bit here. But this is the other thing is like this, that right there, that little juncture there where I didn't finish sewing at the bottom there, right? That needs to land a quarter of an inch away. So you could always draw this on here. This is washable. I could do a little bit further. I was being really conservative, thinking the width of this ink pen would be too thick, but I was a little too conservative. Okay, so there we go. So that little juncture right there needs to land right in the middle of that juncture there, right? So I'm kind of tempted to just sew the whole thing. But let's also smooth this out right here. Like that. And let's smooth this, this one out. I don't really need to. Yeah, a little bit right here. Okay. Okay. No, please don't what? No, please don't what? Oh, please don't do the whole thing. See, for me, my problem with pre-sewing things is that then you have to, when you do the real sewing, you have to nail it and include that and make sure it doesn't show on the right side. So I feel like that's more risky. So that's why I said that. But I can not. Okay, what's the stitches? Oh, I can just do straight stitches? Well, let's just do some straight stitches then. We're just basting it. I'm gonna make the stitch length long. All right, so I feel like my needle, no, isn't centered. No, that's fine, I'll do it. Why is this still, oh. Yeah, you can actually force this into a zigzag if you put some stitch width. That's funny. All right, so I'm gonna stop at that little point. And then now I'm gonna pick this up and pivot it, pull it all the way around. So I'm pulling the elastic over like this. I didn't even cut my thread yet. We can pull this down actually a little further. So let's sew that a little more. The zigzag stitches on this center thing is kind of distracting. Like it makes me not understand where the center is. Okay. Let me cut these threads. And get rid of some of these. Since we don't finish these edges, that's why I'm always trimming all these threads, because I don't want it to look like a mess inside, you know? All right, so now that's where we're at, right? And then we're gonna pull this around. We're just looking at it as like two little seams here. And we're gonna repeat. I'm not really right on the juncture down there at the elastic, but I think I'm still centered, so I'll take that. That's fine with me. Let's get rid of this thread. We're not immortalizing threads around here, buddy. Look at my elastic trying to creep up, so I'm just grabbing it and pulling it down. Oops. And then the needle hit me. Okay, like this. I just wanted to catch the edge of that elastic. All right, let's see how I did. Moment of truth. Always getting rid of threads. I mean, the sewing looks really like in a good V right here, right? Let's check it out. Yeah, that works for me. Cast a zigzag. Oh, really? Think of it as you know, like a seam from point to point rather than you're trying to nail a V. I think that's a lot of pressure, you know? All right, so now we're gonna sew this on. And I need to know what the stitches are. And we're gonna do zig and zag. Okay, 2.5 by 3. I thought I had to stretch this too, but it doesn't feel like I need to very much. If anything, I'm stretching the elastic to fit it. Is that right? I did 15.5, I'm pretty sure, for the 15.5. Let's just make sure my elastic is the right length. 12. Yeah, okay. I'll trust it. I'm trusting it. After this, we don't have the straps. Dang. 3. No, I think I need to be on 2.5 and 3. Oh, 3.5 and 3. No. 2.5 and 3, yeah, and the top stitch is 3.5. Okay. I have to say, this has gone like 10 times smoother than my first one because of the micro duoplex. That really added my layer of frustration before. Pulling that down to line up. And then we're going to pull this cup to match up, but I see this little bit here, so I'm gonna pull it down a little bit. Make sure I catch all the edges there. And now I'm on my basting. I'm gonna just back stitch as a reinforcement here. And then now I'm going to turn. I'm not gonna cut the threads though. I'm just making sure my left needle lands where that basting stitch was. Thanks, guys. Yeah, this is very easy to sew. I said, I think this is really easy to sew. I don't feel like I'm doing a very hard bra, like there's no underwire and stuff. I don't know if that's hard, honestly. Maybe underwire is not hard at all. I don't know. I'm kind of curious. I should probably watch the tutorial now. Maybe I'll learn some like things and also cringe at everything I got wrong. Good job, Bernina. There's a couple of skip stitches. I'm just not sweating over that. Like, you know, it's a wearable muslin. All right, let's see how I did though. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I can't tell what you guys can see. Interesting. The muslin kit I got from Porcelain had a ton of underwire. Well, there were two things that were woven tape that she said was underwire holders. I don't know what it's called. But there were two different ones. So I was like, are they both that? So, okay, I think we'll do the top stitching, which was 3.5, right? 3.5 and 3. Oh, maybe let's look at my seam here. Do I want to trim anything? I have a fair few, like I have 3 skip stitches right there. The zigzag's gonna be helpful. Let's get rid of some of this though. These little doohickeys here. The chiffon, it wants to fray a little bit, I'm noticing. But the zigzag will help. All right. What time is it? Oh, it's 1. Wow. I can't believe it's been 2 hours. It's gone by quick. I found that when my machine was skipping a lot that I had to sew really slowly, and when it would skip I would immediately go back. Like I was going like that, like I was going 1 stitch at a time. It was really bad. And so I was having to really baby it. So I really feel your pain if that's what you're struggling with sewing this. Like I went through that too on mine. And it was really just, it really hated the fabric. And I tried, I think 5 different needles. Oof. And ended up with a microtex. I didn't use stretch or jersey at all. Like it was like a 14 microtex, which is, I think, was a lot heavier. I thought it would have to be a 12 maybe. This being a size 9 is of huge difference. 9 is small, and you know it's knit because it's an odd number. The odd numbers are always stretch needles, so they'll be like 9 and 11. And I tried those, they didn't work for me. All right, so we're here at this little center part. It's quite thick right here. I'm a little worried about that since we already broke a needle. 1 stitch at a time. And then I'm going to lift up my presser foot and let it, and kind of ooch it forward 1/16 of an inch. See, it skipped. So now I can go like this. I can go back to the stitch I just sewed, let the needle go back in there. It keeps stitching, or skipping. So I'm going to use my hand wheel. Oh, look at that. See? It's not going to sew here. It's too much. Because of the elastic, 2 elastics right here. Yeah, it's not very happy right here. Let's change our needle. Getting paranoid. I can feel it. It's a little rough at the tip. So let me see what we got. These are all my weird needles. These are all my stretch. I have jersey. This is what I'm using right now. Here's a heavier one. And here's an even heavier one. So let's try one of those 3. This is 9 stretch. Usually stretch means you're using a knit with synthetic in it, like Lycra. So that's why you'll be like, why doesn't my jersey needle work when it's a stretch needle? That's usually for more natural fiber based stretches, in my experience. So I'm going to jump up to the 14. It's quite thick right there. It might be too much. I don't know. If this ruler tape wasn't so expensive, I'd use the heck out of it. I love it. It's so strong. I love it. But, you know, I don't really need to. All right. I'm going to just test down here a little bit first. Ew, we don't like that. That's because I didn't hold my bobbin thread. If you don't want thread vomit, hold your bobbin thread. I know better. I just forget to do it. Okay, fine. There we go. I can hear the hawks out there. I'm just going to sew right here in the seam allowance. Just to kind of prime it up. All right, and I'm also going to hold my bobbin thread because I'm starting in the middle. Oh, it's getting kind of messy. All right, fingers crossed. Now, if I can't get past that, what I would do you see how here's this top stitching right here along the neckband seam, and here's where I'm getting hung up? I have no problem skipping over to right here. In fact, I probably should just do that. See you, Cheyenne, nice seeing you. Because that's stitched there and that's stitched there, and that'll be enough. Like, you don't have to pull your hair out too much, you know? So let's just get past that thick seam. And we may find that we can only go up to this side here. I'm going to sew a little bit with my hand wheel first. I just wanted to make sure I held the bobbin thread here. That's why I was doing that. Okay, so my head's on the camera. I can feel it. Get that nice and straight. I'm lining up this over the point of the elastic to kind of encourage that straightness that I'm hoping I got. All right, and now we'll turn. Oh man, we got 2 skip stitches. 2's better than 1 if you keep going, because then you can go back. Ah, my kid did it again. Stop it. Stop it. Do a different angle. You see that? It just keeps popping right back out. Super stretch, yeah. I don't think I have super stretch. I only have stretch or jersey. There we go, I got it. But there's a lot of stitches there. I don't think this is the right needle. It looks kind of messy there now. So let's try the Microtex. I could try jersey, but I don't think it'll work. I think it'll actually fail bad. And then we have right, Aisha? Yeah, you can hear it skipping. We all know that sound. This is a 12 Microtex. Thoughts and prayers. All right. Oh wait, let's make sure we're not adding a ton of thread back here. So I think that this seam would look nice serged, but that's just me. All right, where's my bobbin thread? There it is. I probably could just skip to this main part of the cup here, but I'm kind of curious how it's going to do here, so I'm just going to sew a little bit. Okay, that's doing good. Can we get over this big thick seam? We're going to hand wheel it for a little bit. It doesn't feel as thick as the other side. It skipped one, but that's okay because it's so thick. I'm not surprised. Cool. I think we're good. All right. Microtex for the win. No one said this hobby was cheap. Oh, oh, oh. And then we get a bunch of skip stitches. Let's go a little slower. Come on, we're on the home stretch. Cover stitch. You know, I feel like a twin needle would be a little too much to flatten out this edge, and turning that corner would be a little bit tricky, like at the center. Maybe a chain stitch. You could do maybe a chain stitch top stitch, because then you have the stretch of the chain stitch, which is what our zigzag is giving us. It's so bad right now. I was doing so good. It's so bad though. We had a lot of luck until now. Let's take out some of this though. I think that I can tolerate some, but you know, I have my limits. There we go. I don't want to snag the chiffon. The chiffon doesn't really want to be snagged though, which is great. Let's see if we can figure this out. I guess worst case scenario, I'm always looking for my backup plans, is that I could order some different needles like the super stretch, and I could top stitch this later. I don't think that's disastrous. I think it's better than leaving a bunch of skip stitches, you know. I don't think 3-step zigzag would work because it's not grabbing a stitch at all. So and I don't know though, I could be wrong. Zig, 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 zag, zag, zag. Okay, I could try that. You want me to try that? I think I know which one that is on my machine. Hi, Fiona. Maybe that's an even better way to do it. Oh my gosh. There we go. I was like, this is a slog. There we go. Yeah, I'm still skipping stitches even without the thick seam though. Let's get rid of this. Do I really need top stitching at all? All right. 3-step zigzag, I'm pretty sure is this one here. Okay. That looks a little wider than what I got. So let me try and mimic. I love 3-step zigzag. That's the 3-step. Okay, it is number 4. Perfect. Okay, I'm on the right one. Thank you. Let's try it. Let's try it. Maybe I want to go back a little bit further. Just a little bit. I'm going to go up to right here. I don't want to immortalize this. All right, let's try it. I really want to land though where I've already sewn. So I'm on the right side now. So let's start right. Okay. Oh no, I just saw a stitch. But they're not as disastrous, are they? Nice. Okay, now I'm going over a juncture, so it's a little, I can tell like, I don't know about that. Do you see when it's skipping? It's not very often now. Ah, good suggestion, guys. Thanks. Love it. Oh. Oh, see, when I start approaching these junctures, this side doesn't look as good as the other one. I do not find hump jumpers work very good. And it's not the lack of contact in this case, because it's not side to side. It's dead on straight, you know. Here we are approaching another one. Oh, you know what I forgot to do is change my presser foot too. I got hung up on this thickness. Now I'm just being sloppy. I admit it. We're at the home stretch. Hey Ray, how's it going? The hammer was a good suggestion. She wanted me to mash that thick seam down. That works really good. I love the way 3-step zigzag looks, but man, my life is fading before my eyes. If I had to sew all the time with it. My hat is off to you underwear sewers who use it, but it does look nice. Look at that. Can you see that? I love it because it looks like elves stitched it. You know? They were like, oh, our little hands can't make this big leap, so we'll stitch up to it before we go the other way, before we zag. All right. Here is how it's looking. And now I think we're at the strap elastic, right? Okay, we did that. Straps, we're going to check our hooks and eyes, make our straps, attach them, and then do our hooks and eyes. Yeah, okay. Here's my straps. I could use a better matching thread for this step. All right, where is my hardware? We got the cat cup. We got the hooks and eyes. This is the one thing I would change about this bra is that the 4-hook thing is not something I'm used to. I'm getting better about it. I think it's just a learned, you know, movement to try to put it on. So, not my favorite. And I always feel like I'm missing a hook, you know. I'm gonna leave that there. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna attach this, and let me see what the 3.5 and 0.5. 5. We're gonna be attaching this strap to the 3-bar slider. You use 3 hooks and you still miss a hook. I'm used to 3. You want this tail to be about 3/4 inch from here so you can get your presser foot there. This is one of those cases where I think holding the tails, starting in the middle and backing up to the beginning is going to give you a nicer looking. Oh, see, it still sucked my, there, we're gonna pull that. Did you see that? Like, oh no, you don't. We're gonna back up. That way the end looks nice. I find if I start right at the end, it just looks kind of messy. I don't mind finishing at the end. That's very wide. Did I do that too wide? Looks nice though. Get rid of some of these threads poking out from the cut edge. That's thread, not the thread. Okay, let's do our other one. I bet, Michelle. Okay, and then now I think we attach the strap, but let's check our hook. The width here, looking good. A little messy. This is probably where I tried that stitching, huh? We'll tuck that in there. All right. And we are 2.5, 2.5. Oops. All right. I just had to panic. I'm fine. I put the whole thing up to the edge. Wait, I need to look at the image. Oh, yeah, of course. Okay. I found pinning this one was really hard because it's such a quick turn. This seems like it's going to be harder than it really is, though. All right, we're going to start at the top edge. Oops, sorry, I didn't hold the bobbin, so you heard it. It was messy. It's messy under there. And then we're just going up to here. Where's my thread vomit? Yep, there it is. Here we go. And then we'll do our second row. Second row, same as the first. I'm gonna hold that bobbin thread. Did I do that right? This feels different this time. Yeah. Oh, my thread matches better. That's part of it. Okay, yeah. I really like, I matched the thread on this one. It looks way better. I think the white could have looked better in general. Did I do this wrong? Yeah, I did do this wrong. I did this wrong, for sure. Oh yeah, big time wrong. Yeah, oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, we did this wrong. Very wrong. Forgot the hook. I mean the loop. Shoot dang. Shoot dang. Let's just get rid of it. I'll just start with new straps. I knew something was up. I almost said, oh, we put the loop on. I'm like, no, we do that on the strap. No, we don't do that. We do, but we do it once it's attached. Oh no, it's not your fault. I had to make a big mistake at some point, right? It's the home stretch fumbles. That's okay though. Because what we're gonna do, yeah, I could. It won't match my loop. But I could preserve this strap for maybe another one. Whatever I just did with them. What the heck? Let me cut these off. I wish I could just take this off. Well, you know what I could do? I could do this. Look at how cool their zigzag's not even a zigzag, it's heat. It's welded. Wow. Look, I can save myself some time and leave this one on. How about that? We'll cheat. We're back on track. There we go. So I just forgot to do that step, put the loop on there. So my things aren't gonna match, and that's okay with me. And the spirit of saving time, but look at, can you see how this is welded? It's not a zigzag stitch, it's heat welded. All right. So then, these are just pre-made straps. If you saw yesterday, I bought these pre-made straps because it was the only thing I was missing was the strap elastic. Since I used it, I stole it from my Notions kit. Oh, but I need to measure this. Oh my. We want this to be 15, what is it? Straps are 12 1/8 inches. Mine are 12 1/8 inches long, cut. There's that. And then there's that. So right here. So let me trim these down. Then we go back through. Okay, and then this one. All right, back through. Now we can sew this on. Sweet. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what happened to the ones I made. Oh, there are ones on the floor. That's great. I just don't want to accidentally use the wrong one. Okay. So we have this like this. One more time. Nope, grab that bobbin thread. No thread vomit, please. Thank you. There we go. Let's get a few stitches in there and it'll be fine. Just want it out of the way. There we go. increasing the pressure. As I'm going to gently, not really pulling, but you know. At least that was an easy one to take out, right? You know, that was a sewing fairy telling me to change my thread color, and I still didn't change my thread color. Sorry, lady. We're on the home. We need like a term for that. The home stretch. You know, like you start making poor choices. It's the eager stuff. You know, you get so eager. All right. There we go. Can you guys hear Loki snoring? Whew. He is sawing logs. All right. Do the other side. What is that? It's like a little flaw. Oh well. I'm fine with that. It's not a perfect bra. I feel like I'm doing this left-handed. You know what keeps popping into my head a lot lately is I watched Jaws while I was in Charlotte, and it keeps popping into my head. That's it. I'm wondering if I wasn't watching the first one. I was watching the second one because I didn't remember any of it. It's kind of amazing how little happens in that movie, but it's still interesting, you know? All right. One more. Then we just have the last two steps. Where do you guys put a tag when you make your bras? Like, should I have already thought of that? This seems like a really good instance to do heat transfer. You don't use a tag, yeah. I mean, it's very clear what the back is. All right, that's how the inside looks. So that raw edge just gets butted up right against the elastic there. This is how the inside's looking, just, you know, full disclosure. Skip stitches and all. I think that if this continues to be an issue, like for scratchiness, maybe I would bind it with a piece of fabric that's not double folded, like maybe a piece of bias that's just folded in half and just singed over the edge. See you, Amy? Nice seeing you. Thank you. All right, so now let's trim this up right here. How do I get rid of this thread right here? Where's this coming from? Jeez. I guess it's partly immortalized there. How's my other strap look? Better. All right, so now we're going to loop this, and we're not twisting our strap, are we? Right? We're gonna come around like this, right? We're not twisting our strap. Seems very easy to do with this. And then we're gonna zigzag that. And this again is the, I'm gonna trim this down a little bit. Is the 3.5 by 0.5. I am streaming on Saturday, and we're doing catalog capers again. And if anyone here in the guild is submitting a design, today is the last day to submit and vote. You must vote today because I have to put it together tomorrow. Like, I need to grab patterns and get some visuals together. It's a little bit more prep for those. This is kind of thick. But you're not going to give me a problem with this, are you? I really wish I was using the correct foot. I just don't have it here either. The buttonhole foot it's not doing me justice when I'm trying to go over these really thick things, because the buttonhole foot has two tunnels like this under the foot for the two channels of the buttonhole. So, usual time, yeah. You can't hear the dog, yeah. Yeah, I hear you, Jan. It's definitely one of those things, like, once I did it, I was like, ow, okay. I'm more interested now. That's a Chahunka zigzag, but it's a Chahunka strap. Chahunka. All right, we're not twisting this strap either, right? We're not twisting that strap. We're gonna clean up this edge too. I'm not a fan of projects that have a lot of zigzag, but hey, it's worth it. Oops. I'm wrapping my bobbin around my finger to prevent the thread vomit. Oh, I started right at the end. Not a good idea. It's hard to get a nice edge there. But now I'm going to just jump over what I've already sewn. I'm just kind of helping it onto these thicknesses because I'm using the wrong foot. I mostly used to use this machine only for buttonholes, so I'd put my other feet away. But now I have a dedicated buttonholer. I could make this my dedicated zigzag. You know what I mean, jelly beans? You know what I think the pain with, well, that one doesn't look quite as good. It's like that meme, I'm Janet, do, do, do. They both don't look that great. All right, we just have our closure. The thing I think that's really fussy about underwear elastic is that you use so much elastic to make those that we try and eke out as much, we try to not waste any, right? So you cut the elastic the size you need it. But the thing is, then you have nothing to hold on to when you're sewing it, and it makes it really fussy. So if you gave yourself an inch at each end, like 2 inches extra, it makes it so much easier to do. But then you're wasting, you know, 6 inches per pair of underwear for like 2 inches each leg and then 2 inches for the waist. I think that for me, once I just was like, you know what, we're buying a spool of this stuff, it made me less precious about it, you know? So, see you, Fiona. Yep, vote over in the guild. It's under the event. Look at the event. Yeah, if you look at the event, it'll explain what catalog capers is. It's when I look at ready to wear garments. Let me find this number here first. Hooks and eyes. Oh, I was supposed to do the hooks and eyes before the strap. Oops. 3.5.5. Okay, that's the same thing. I was making sure. We're changing the foot. We still have pattern chatter. It's on the first Friday of the month. But catalog capers is we look at pattern, or not patterns, I'm sorry, ready to wear garments. And we figure out how we would make those. Is 37... Oh no, I think 1. I think it's 1. And then I show you how to use your existing patterns in your library. And then, and catalog capers is for everybody. It's not just a guild thing. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for saying that. But only the guildies get to submit the garments. And you have to provide a link to it. And then it's helpful to know also like what patterns you have if you're interested. And then everyone gets to vote. And you vote by reacting. Like there's a like react button now in the guild. It doesn't matter what you react with. You just need to react with an emoji. And then the most votes, those are the ones I'll do. And depending on how complex the top votes are, will depend on how many we pick. Because if you're picking t-shirts, I'm like, okay, we could do 4 of those. But if you're picking welt pocket lined coats, we're doing 1 or 2. It was a few months ago. All right, so now we're doing hooks and eyes, and hooks go on the eyes go on this one. Okay, the eyes have it. All right. I don't know, what do we think about this color elastic? I think it's okay, but knowing it could have matched it is popping into my head, you know? Stay in there. All you little threads, cuddle up and hide yourselves in there. It's safe. But you keep popping out. Sometimes if they're longer, they're easier to make compliant. It's the short ones that go awry. But look at this guy. He really wants to. So maybe if I pull him out like that, there we go. Now he's pointing the other way. Okay. Again, matching thread would be really great. My foot pedal is a mile away now. All right. Oof, did you hear that chunk? It didn't like that I was holding the bobbin thread. I'm gonna give it a little tug. We're definitely all in on the two-tone, even the top stitching. At least I now have my my zigzag foot. I think the worst thing I could do with making my bra is put the hooks and eyes on the wrong side. I don't think I can put it on. This stuff looks like it matches, really. Ooh, if I hung off a little. Yikes, don't like that. But I won't be seeing it, will I? Let me see how it looks on your screen. I had considered making this white. So I'm kind of glad I kept, it like outlines it when it's, so it does look more cohesive. Okay. Oh, how does it look on the inside? Oh, that looks good. We have a little thread here. Let's pull this guy out. Yeah, I could have done better there. All right, so now let's put on our, oh, did I do that right? Yeah, it goes like this. Okay, so the hook's face down. Man, you gotta really be thinking. There's so many places where you could make some errors. You don't do any one step for very long, but you really can make some bad decisions or accidents with this, right? So they're showing, that's correct, right? The hook's face away towards the inside. I know, but it's like I'm second guessing everything right now. All right. What is this guy? What is that? I'm ruthless. No stragglers. Thank you for the reassurance, Michelle. This kind of reminds me of knitting socks, because in knitting socks, you think, oh my God, I'm knitting a sock, it's gonna be so hard. It's not, and you do no one step for very long. It's very quick. So if you get something wrong, you're like, well, I guess I'm doing that again. We're almost to the reveal. I feel like, am I getting in the way of the camera? I'm not used to the new cameras yet, very clearly. Come on. Everybody still inside the train car? Yeah, okay. This doesn't feel as like I'm getting it all. I think it's because this side's kind of bumpy. It's like trying to push away. You probably can see it. Hey, that'll do. He's sleeping. Are you supposed to do it the other direction? Is that why it feels bad? I mean, the hooks are over here. They shouldn't get caught in the feed dogs. The hook, like, here's a hook right here. Right here. I'm gonna pull this onto the fabric a little better. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Oh, no. We're gonna do the old-fashioned back stitch where you pick it up and pull it back. I didn't quite get that look. Oh. All right, this was okay. I think I should have done it with the other side facing up and with matching thread. Then it would look a lot better. Oh, they do. Oh, okay. That makes sense, because I did feel wrong. Okay, grand reveal. Let's put it on the dress form. I don't have the little pad things here though. it's really pretty. The last time I put this on my dress form, it was so hard to get on, and she's smaller than me. I don't think I would have survived ever living in an era if I had to put a bra on someone else. Oh my God. Oh, maybe it won't happen. Let's see. She doesn't have arms, you know? She's not very cooperative without arms. Let's lengthen the strap. Let's give ourselves as much as we can. I think I would have done the deeper, maybe I would do the deeper inset one of these times. Do you guys do the high inset or the deep inset? There's a thread. Oh, I got it. Okay. Got it on. It is very two-tony, and I don't mind it at all. Don't worry, I fill out the cups better than this gal does. It's very pretty. You do the deep one too? Or you mean the high one or the low one, I should say. I'm trying to lower it. It's really pretty. You do the low one. Okay, yeah, I think I would do that. Here's the inset right here. I think I would do that next time. It's pretty. I feel very accomplished. What a nice bra. This sits better on her than it does me. This, I feel like this really opens up like shopping for chiffon on Spoonflower now, you know? Low, okay, yeah, maybe I should do the low. That's good to know. You've gone in the middle. Oh, okay. Interesting. Thanks, guys. I don't know if I think I'd have to zoom so you can see it a little better. Let's see. Chiffon, here we come. Sorry, it's a little bright. We can tone that down too. I don't know, the brightness with this camera, I think, is different. There's the back. I think I need to get better at my seam allowances when I'm attaching picot. You see how it kind of like is narrower here than wider here. So I could use some practice on that for sure. But, you know, for the most part, that doesn't bug me. It's just something I would like to aim to try and do better at. Yeah. Oh, okay, Michelle, that makes sense. Yeah, that turned out great. I'm excited. It's so supportive. I love this bra. And it does fit me. I fill it out. Don't worry. Oh, man. Cool. I am zooming it out again. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for cheering me on and putting up with my beginnerness. I appreciate it. I appreciate there weren't any backseat bra makers. But I still love tips, so. Yeah, that'll do. All right, so, and thanks also for celebrating 7 years with So as well, because that's been really cool to do this week. Saturday, like I said, it's catalog capers. If you're in the guild, you have something you want to make that you've only seen in ready to wear, and you want to figure out how to do that, you can submit a thing, like a garment, but you need to do it in the event. So go to events. It's a free event, and then put your pattern there, and then tell people to vote for it. I'm gonna make a reminder now to encourage people to vote. So all you people in like they're about to go to bed, if you have some, you have a dog in the game, then you should definitely do it. Yeah, you need some floral bras. This is so pretty, and it's soft, and it's not scratchy, and it's not lace, right? There's something flying above. Yeah, join the guild. It's free to join. And if you want help with your projects, you can become a So Guildie, and then you get access to 4 workshops a month, and all of the skill building sessions that are in there. So thanks for coming, guys. And I'll see you guys on Saturday. Sound good? All right, see you guys then. Bye.